I'm not gonna lie. If I was gonna choose a game to like be upset about, it wouldn't be this one. I think that like maybe people are waking up to, man, this team just has a lot of issues defensively. They can't stay in front of the ball. They're disconnected or disjointed. People and national narratives about Jokic and defense, and he needs to do this, this, and that. And I'm just, that's not the issue. Like I have, I, if anything, what I will say is I don't get everything right, but what I do get right is when I look at something for a long period of time, I can typically tell you what the problem is. And I feel like I've tried to give a detailed breakdown of why this team is where it is from a internal standpoint mentally. The vision split between Booth and Malone, relying on so many young guys, so many key players that you need on this team to perform at a certain level defensively have gone in and out of the lineup. Aaron Gordon, 29 games missed, hadn't had the same defensive season large part of the year. Peyton Watson, obviously, him missing a month when he was playing really well. That really just took a lot of the wind out of his sails. But overall, the Nuggets don't have players that can stay in front of people and slide their feet. So, and then you add that to the Nuggets having like giving so much effort offensively to make up a new offense because they don't have 3-point shooting. So they have to cut and run all the time. So they're running more than they ever have. They're cutting more basically than they ever have. They're scoring more in the paint than they ever have. They're playing more physical. They're getting to the free throw line more than they've ever had. So they're spending more effort on offense because it takes more work to be an elite offense now because of the people on the roster and the things they don't have. So then now they have worse defensive personnel and they have to work harder to make up for lapses. So they're working harder on the offensive end, and they're still really elite, working harder on the defensive end, and they're much worse. So then that's why when we get to these points, it's like they're playing versus the Blazers. And granted, it's March. Like the Suns just demolished the Cleveland Cavaliers today. The Cavs lost 3 straight, then they won a game, then they lost again. Like March is a very, very iffy month around the league. I said on PC Player Choice today that the Spurs have the best offense in the month of March with no Wemby. Like this month doesn't mean a lot, but I think what you should take away from what you're seeing from the Nuggets right now is that they are literally just begging for the season to end. They don't want to do more regular season. They're over the regular season. This season has been hard. It's been hard for so many different reasons, but mentally, I believe they just have been exhausted from Murray having to get back into like full locked in mode and getting healthy. Aaron Gordon's injuries. Michael Porter has carried a crazy load this year. He also has had to do way more defensively than he felt like maybe he felt like he can or whatever. Russ has had to, really he's been mostly really good, but Russ has also been playing like a starter. Like he's playing 30 minutes a game on $3 million a year. 36 years old. That really shouldn't be his role. Christian Brown is having to step into all this stuff. So I think when you take all the stuff I'm mentioning, Christian trying to figure out how to play better offensively, but then on the other end now he has to be this POA defender. He's just not able to do that yet. And so now the defense is collapsing. And this is the other thing, people keep blaming Jokic for this defense, and I'm telling y'all that's not the issue. What Jokic doesn't do is rim protect. And so what Jokic has to have is players around him to make his life easier defensively because he's making everyone's life easier offensively. So he needs guards, he needs wings who are able to attack and be aggressive and keep you out of the paint and contest and try to hold firm on drives. But the Nuggets don't have any of that. So therefore, when Jokic is out there, you're like insinuating the things he doesn't do well, but then you're not highlighting the things he does do well, which is he contains very well. He rebounds, obviously. He has really good hands in the pick and roll and the passing lanes. But you can't use those things because the other team is getting where they want. Like tonight, Delano Banton was getting to the rim on Russ, and everybody, it's just silly stuff. Like silly. And so the team is in this place where like the roster has been so split apart since Bruce Brown left and then Jeff Green left. And then on top of that, KCP walking, like the team is exhausted. And I mean this. I genuinely mean this. The team is exhausted. I don't think that the front office and properly anticipated that if you're going to give them a non-modern offense, meaning a non-modern offense is a lack of floor spacers. Like Cleveland has the second best offense or the second first best offense in the league ahead of the Nuggets. They have a modern offense with a bunch of floor spacing, and they put up threes. The Nuggets shoot the least amount of threes in the NBA, yet they're basically the best and most well-rounded offense in the sport, but they take no threes. So they're having to play harder to generate shots around the rim and run in transition. And then on the other end, they suck defensively. They don't have the personnel. And so now they look horrible. And what I'm saying is, I think, look, I'm going to be clear about this, y'all. Like, I don't think this team's winning a title in terms of like my first estimation as of today. Like, could it change if they get into a playoff setting and all of a sudden the energy you've been looking for all year is there, and like they look like they've just been waiting for this moment just to get back to this moment so they can kick everything into overdrive for 16 games. Sure, no problem. For a month and a half, they saying we can go get it. Give us a month and a half, oh, we can beat anybody. Maybe that's it. But also, the other side of this is like Jokic is having the best season I've seen, really, maybe outside of like LeBron. He's been incredible this year, but Jokic has gotten gassed at the end of the year because he's had to do so much. This is why like the MVP conversation is so silly to me, because I think if you're just talking about somebody who's had to floor raise and play at an elite level, and you look at the stuff he's dealing with, there's no one in the league that's had to do this, and he's successful at it. They're going to win 50-plus games this year in large part because of what he's been able to do, offensively, especially with this team. And I think Malone has done as good as he can, man. Like, Malone hasn't had like the best year at all times this year, but dude, he is just like, I think he's just in such a bind. Like, what can I do to get you to stay in front of your man? How do I help you? Because we're having to go zone versus a Portland Trailblazers team without Donovan Clingan and DeAndre Ayton or Robert Williams, obviously. Like, what do I need to do to help you? Because if I can't keep running zone, but even when I run zone, they're splitting the zone and they're getting to the rim anyway by throwing entry passes, or they're not covering the three-pointer correctly. Like, there's only so much I can do as a coach. At some point, you're going to have to decide that you want to buckle down and lock in and play defense. And they're not. Like, they're not. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I just think that the Nuggets are ready for the end of the year. Like, I have no basketball takeaways today from like nothing. Everybody just needs to stay healthy. But this is just a team that looks like it's clearly exhausted, and clearly it's just trying to get me to the playoffs. Like, I don't care. Like, Christian, man, like, everybody's just saying like, just resign Christian, this and that. Like, yeah, you know what? Maybe. But I'm sorry, y'all. The 2 guard and the 4 guard in the system, and Porter, if this is going to be it next year, like you can't have like 2, 3, and 4 have to be rock solid defensively. They do, next to Joker and next to Murray. And I just think I think Gordon can do it. I just don't know if Brown's ready to do that yet. I just really don't. Like, he's played really well, but I'm thinking conceptually, functionally about what Murray and Jokic need. I'm saying Brown has to be able to be a tier 1 defender, and I'm talking about soon. I understand that like he's having a really good offensive year, y'all, but like, they're gonna have to. I mean, look, I've said I'm not even tripping right now, y'all, because y'all see me. I've been hot. Like, I've been hot on different shows about this. I will come very, very hard, but this one is just, for me, it's just like I get it, and I'm empathizing with them. I know they're exhausted, because I know that what they've been asked to do this year has been pretty crazy, and I know they're lacking some things on the roster. Shoot, I mean, not even that. Like, Ivan Thompson is OG. Like, I'm talking about like just even guards. Like, maybe not even tier 1, tier 2. Is that what KCP was last year when he got all defense votes? I mean, Derek White's tier 2. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even got to be crazy, but that would be ideal. I think that's the next iteration of Denver, is having one of those kind of defenders on the roster. But I just think everybody just kind of has to take a breath. Like this is an older team, not and I mean like older as in like they've been doing this now. Like this is 18, 19, playoff run in 19, playoff run in 20, playoff run in 21, playoff run in 22, playoff run in 23, playoff run in 24, and now 7th straight playoff run coming up. And no one else in the Western Conference can say that. Nobody else in the West can say that. I really don't think people understand how much basketball that core has played as of late. And then on top of that, the regular season. So think about that. The core has played 7 straight years of playoff basketball, right? Heavy regular seasons, no bench since 23. No bench. Heavy starters minutes, no rotation players to supplement consistently. That for me is like it's just inexcusable. That's crazy. Like you have to make sure that if you have a team like this, you have options, and they don't have a lot of options. So this is what I mean. Like Joker's having this incredible season, 29, 13, 10. He's shooting 50, 40, 80 on the year. Like we've never seen anything like this. But at the same time, it's like even Joker, even LeBron, even Jordan, there's only so much I can do if the roster is just like not there. And everybody watches things like tonight or watches the Lakers game from Friday and from just the other day, and you're just like, man, they just don't have anybody that can stay in front of somebody. Like y'all, the Portland Trailblazers today, with no big, a 133.3 offensive rating today. No defense tried. None. No defense, no ball containment, nothing. Like, again, the narrative always goes back to Joker and like, oh, he doesn't play defense, and I wish I could educate people on what actually is the problem, and I feel like I am trying to. What is the actual problem with Denver? Portland had 26 second chance points today. They had 64 paint points, and the Nuggets had their best wing defenders in the game today. So you tell me, if I'm taking my bad rim protector off and I'm giving you nothing but wing defenders, Peyton Watson, Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, Russell Westbrook, and you're still getting driven to the rim, and you're still not boxing out, and you're still getting scored on at will in the paint. They had 15 offensive rebounds today, 18 fast break points, 26 second chance points, y'all. And they had 12 steals. This is all Portland. 30 assists for Portland. The Nuggets had 31, had 20 turnovers today and 24 assists. 24 assists and 20 turnovers versus Portland. The Nuggets have already handled this Portland team, by the way, in the last 2 games they played. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there are deeper issues, and they're being exposed. And if anything, this should lead to people's appreciation for how they've gotten to the fact that they're even on pace to win 50-something games with how this team is actually built. Like, it's like everyone, and the thing is, most people that are, I think, honest, they know that the Nuggets are a poorly built team, that they don't have a bench. Everybody gets that. But it's the fact that, like, the starters are now disjointed defensively. Russell Westbrook being included in this unit, and like the lack of spacing with him and Brown now. Gordon figured it out. But Brown, he's taking less 3-pointers now. He's turning down more 3-pointers now. He looks like it's zapped out of him that he knows he's not a shot maker from the 3-point line. And it's like, okay, well, that's just. So you're saying that the way you're going to maximize your role in the offense is by transition points? But when we get in the half-court setting in the playoffs, like, the confidence is not going to necessarily be there. The shot execution might not be there. And then defensively, you're also saying that you're not going to, like, be able to stay in front of your man. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's not, and I know it's a lot. Like, I just know it's a lot. It's a lot of weight to deal with. I get it. I understand. But like I said, everybody's exhausted. Everybody's tired. Everyone is. So I guess for you all, I want you just to be able to take a breath. I don't want this to be really your image of the year. This has been a long year for everyone, including the fan base. I think this is a really disappointing season for a lot of people, and I think obviously rightfully so with Jokic having the year that he's having. Murray included, also having basically a career year as well this year as well, despite the slow start. Michael Porter was at one point in time, but then he had that leg injury after the Pelicans game and kind of zapped a lot out of him. And Russ has reinvigorated his career. I mean, there's some really great stories that come out of this season. The problem is people were hoping for a championship year. And right now, the thing about the Thunder, like the Thunder, I would say the Nuggets ceiling and the Thunder ceiling, they're not that far off, if really at all. But that's ceiling. The Thunder's floor is the highest in the sport. Maybe the highest in the West. The Celtics might have the highest floor in the West in the NBA. The Nuggets, their floor is Portland, like playing, not right out of the plan. Their ceiling is we can beat anybody. But I'm saying that's such a gamble. You don't want to live in that world. You don't want to live in the world of variance where you just never know what you're going to get. And right now, this is what the season has been. So I get it, man. It's definitely frustrating. They're gonna finish out this year, and we're gonna get into the playoffs, and we're gonna see what they're made of. I mean, we're gonna see what they're made of because fifth seed, or the third seed, or the second seed. I don't know how it's gonna fall out. We're gonna find out what everybody's made of. I mean, real spit. Like this is gonna be a grind, and so they're gonna have to really do some things. And Jokic and Murray, especially, they're gonna have to carry a heavy load. But y'all, they have to defend. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have to defend. Swipe again. Y'all know what time it is, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. Y'all, my folk. See y'all on the other side.